Governor Naru diffused calls for PM to step aside. Singirok says PNGDF callout is premature. And ICT provider Datec opens office in Madang.
This is National EMTV News with Hope Imaka.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. This is Wednesday's news. The chair of Morbe's Provincial House of Assembly, the Tutumang, has ruled against a call made by the Deputy Opposition Leader, Sam Basil, calling for a provincial resolution for the Prime Minister to step aside. Basil made the call this morning, citing recent student tensions. He also repeated calls that the Prime Minister should face investigations. The chairman, Governor Naru, fended off the call, saying a resolution had already been reached yesterday and that the court process would be allowed to take its full course. Scott White reports from Leh.
The Bulolo MP Sam Basil wasn't at the Tutumang yesterday when the Provincial Assembly passed a resolution that it would allow the court process to run its full course with regards to the warrant of arrest for the Prime Minister. The Tutumang from the outset appears to have been cautious about taking a stand that pushes for the Prime Minister to step aside. But even with yesterday's resolution, the Bulolo MP and Deputy Opposition Leader raised the matter again in the Tutumang session this morning, calling for a resolution for the Prime Minister to step aside and face investigations. Speaking during a short adjournment, he said there should have been more debate.
And I think on the floor of Tutumang today, I believe that the Tutumang should be allowed for the presidents to freely express themselves. I believe they have a lot to say.
Now, what you need to understand is that the Tutumang has been a mover and shaker in both national and regional politics. Under Governor Luther Wenge, the Tutumang took the national government to court and successfully forced out a large contingent of Australian Federal Police sent here to Papua New Guinea under the Enhanced Cooperation Program. They've also taken the national government to court, protesting over the distribution of the goods and services tax.
Yesterday's session was attended by the Deputy Leader of the Prime Minister's People's National Congress, Siasi MP Mao Zeming, and the Speaker of Parliament, Finchafen MP Theo Zurinok. Mr. Zurinok said during the adjournment this morning that he supported Governor Naru's ruling, but indicated the quality of debate yesterday fell short of expectations.
I do not know, but the opportunity was given for debate. Certain members did express, provincial members did express their views, but not as deep as how the opposition leader expressed today. It would have been very good if it was yesterday. I think his sentiments would have generated a lot of further debates, and maybe we would have taken a position that may not be as it was yesterday.
Governor Naru has personally remained adamant that the court process should be allowed to run its full course. He's expressed that at many forums. However, his views has in many cases come into conflict with various community leaders expressing the opposite. Scott White, National EMTV News, Leh.
Human rights advocate Matilda Pilacapio made an appeal to the Milne Bay governor for the repatriation of Milne Bay students at universities caught in the middle of the current student unrest. Her appeal, she said, follows news of the central governor's initiative to bring home its students from Unitec this week. She is concerned that there has been no news from the Milne Bay governor's office concerning the welfare of Milne Bay students at both universities. Pilacapio also extended her appeal to Morbe MPs to initiate contact with other governors and discuss the well-being of their respective students.
Appealing to the leaders of the Milne Bay province, in particular the Governor, Honourable Titus Philemon, and his 4 open members. Out of the 4 open members, we have 3 who are government ministers, and I know they have the resources with them to combine together with the Governor, Titus Philemon, and bring our students over. These are intellectuals. One day we'll be very dependent upon them, very dependent, be it Milne Bay or for the rest of the country.
Former PNGDF commander, retired Major General Jerry Singirok, has come out public saying the recommendation for the call-out of the PNG Defence Force is premature. The Bougainville veteran, who led the operation to expel foreign mercenaries from Papua New Guinea, believes all avenues to find a resolution have not been exhausted and the Defence Force option should be the very last. Major General Singirok's statement comes after the National Security Advisory Council recommended a possible call-out if necessary.
These pictures, immortalized in music by Kanai Pineri's song Operation Rousum Quick, shows the kind of chaos that once happened in Papua New Guinea. In 1997, protests erupted following a decision to bring in foreign mercenaries to end the Bougainville War. Today, the man who led the military operation to expel the foreign mercenaries from Papua New Guinean soil said the National Security Advisory Council's recommendation for a call-out of the PNG Defence Force is premature.
The reality of the fact is that the problems at the University of Goroka, University of Technology and University of Papua New Guinea has already been localized. And I believe there is no need for a call-out. It also raises a very serious trend because the government has not fully exhausted other means, including calling on civil society. And I make special reference to the Churches Council. At the moment, it appears that the PNG Churches Council have not made one single statement as a body.
Retired Major General Jerry Singirok says avenues for dialogue have not been exhausted and there is still a long way to go before the PNG Defence Force can be called upon. In previous statements, Major General Jerry Singirok has called for dialogue, citing experiences of Bougainville as lessons that should be taken to heart to avoid military interventions in the early days of civil uprisings.
Retired Major General Jerry Singirok is perhaps the single most important authority on internal security, civil unrest and military intervention in Papua New Guinea. And he's issued another warning that the closure of the universities in Port Moresby and Lae has put more than 5,000 students, educated Papua New Guineans, out of school.
That in itself is an ingredient for an internal security threat.
The biggest issue at the moment is that the fact that because the students' concerns have not been contained at the 3 universities and certain facilities have been closed, over 5,000 students have gone back to their provinces. Now, those students are not there, not doing anything. They're there informing the population, spreading their views, spreading their propaganda, if I may add, and educating, telling people what is happening at a very high level, at the political level, the strategic level, and how it impacts on the day-to-day life.
But an even bigger threat is the proliferation of guns. In 2005, Singirok was appointed chairman of the Guns Control Committee. The recommendations of that report have never been seriously implemented by successive governments.
The biggest concern is that as I presented this report in September of 2005, no government, I repeat, no government has taken the Guns Control report seriously.
Meanwhile, the police command in Port Moresby has since followed the NSAC recommendation to impose a curfew in the 2 universities. This will remain until the tensions ease. Scott Waide, National EMTV News, Lae.
Lae police have so far caught 3 suspects involved in the killing of Dr. Alphonse Rongap, a senior doctor at the Engau General Hospital over the weekend. One was caught on the night of the attack. Another surrendered to police yesterday.
This morning, police apprehended the 3rd suspect allegedly involved in the killing of lay pediatrician Dr. Alphonse Rongap on Saturday night. During the initial stages of the investigation, police had identified 5 suspects, It's been 4 days since the doctor was killed, and police have already apprehended 3 suspects.
Suspects have been locked in our police cells.
One suspect from East New Britain was caught during a raid on Saturday night when the incident was reported to police. Yesterday, another suspect was brought in for questioning. Today, another suspect was picked up at the Tari block at Kamkumu settlement. The 3 suspects are in police custody awaiting charges. Dr. Rongap was serving as a pediatrician at the Engau General Hospital. He had driven along the back road area on Saturday, and after dropping off a family member, his vehicle was surrounded by a large group.
Orasko li kami ol paitim long side block car lo busnaip na oli sutim gun long driver side long glass blongen. Ol sutim gun emmas pairap tas ol planti man na mi pleno sawe.
Dr. Rongap was rushed to the Engau hospital, but he was pronounced dead on arrival. On Sunday morning, family and friends of Dr. Alphonse Rongap gathered at his Eriku residence after receiving news of his death. The Engau hospital staff had scaled down their operation after receiving news of his death. However, the hospital has resumed normal operations as of yesterday. Mata Luis, National EMTV News, Ley.
The 6 policemen alleged to have illegally raided the premises of a car dealer in Port Moresby will serve their court files today. The 6 are members of the mobile squad. They were accused of having illegally searched 2 fast motors before kidnapping the owner in March this year. The case at the Waigani Committal Court was adjourned to July the 27th for mention. The 6 accused are out on 1,500 kina bail each. They are not supposed to consume alcohol and not to be in possession of firearms while their case is undergoing criminal proceedings. A public opinion survey of Papua New Guineans reveals that the general population is in agreement with the Corruption Perception Index that shows that corruption is a major problem in the country. A survey by Transparency International conducted last year found that 99% of the general public felt that it was a problem that was getting worse compared to 10 years ago. These findings were revealed today during the launch of the report.
Governments, when we do release the CPI rankings, they say it's not reflective, it's not really Papua New Guineans, it's outside people coming and telling us how corruption is in the country. So this is something that the IPNG thinks that, it's a valid point. We can look into it and see what the individual citizen opinion on corruption is.
Prior to their annual general meeting today, Yuambari Haihui presented the major findings of the survey, one of which was on the agents of corruption. While some people say everyone is to be blamed for corruption, most pointed fingers at politicians, the National Executive Council, and government officials.
The elected representatives on the floor of Parliament, 81% of the population, of the people surveyed, assigned them as the key causal agents for corruption in the country. For a representative democracy, that's shocking.
So it comes as no surprise that a public with a low opinion of politicians and government officials are not confident with their efforts in fighting corruption.
It's 76%, that's over 3/4 of the people surveyed think that government is not genuine in its efforts to stamp out corruption. We're not sure how many of them are aware of the National Anti-Corruption Strategy that government has released or the efforts that government are doing.
The survey also quantified the perception that in PNG today, you have to always give something to receive what should be a right in terms of government services. When respondents were asked if they have participated in a bribe in the past year, most of them said they have. The survey covered the 5 provinces in the 4 regions with a sample population of 1,250. Sarah Aupong, National EMTV News.
Supreme Court directs immigration to process asylum seekers. ICT Forum discussed disaster reduction, and Datec opens a new office in Madang. Details when we come back. Welcome back to the news. The Supreme Court has given the Chief Migration Officer and Immigration Minister 2 weeks to process the remaining 147 asylum seekers in Manus. Within this time frame, the asylum seekers, or residents, as was termed in court today, will undergo the initial screening of establishing their context and formal determination on whether they can be found negative or positive refugees. Chief Justice Sir Salamo Injia told the two parties, the applicant Belden Nama and the defendant Immigrations, to work together to fast-track the processing of the residents before the matter returns to court on July the 15th.
After the directions hearing, Ben Lomai, lawyer representing the 300 asylum seekers, spoke off camera to the media that by July 15, immigration should already have the list of refugees and non-refugees. Lomai said the next step is for them to start talking about where the refugees should go. Lias Kandi, lawyer representing the Immigration Authority, told the Chief Justice that the transferees that were brought into Manus from Australia in 2013 were categorized into three main groups. There are those that were processed and identified as refugees, the asylum seekers currently undergoing processing, and those identified as non-refugees. Out of the 1,001 transferees from Australia, 532 were given refugee status, 359 were identified as asylum seekers, and 67 have been identified as non-refugees. Lomai argued that these refugees should not be waiting for others. Kandi told the court that a number of the refugees will be resettled in Manus or other provinces. However, Lomai told the media that he has spoken with the asylum seekers and none of them are willing to stay in PNG. He said many of them are liaising with the New Zealand government to move there. Vasinata Yama, National EMTV News.
The Asia-Pacific Telecommunity continued to day 2 of its Policy and Regulation Forum for Pacific today. The sessions looked at cybersecurity and internet policy issues that are vital for protecting internet users. Presentations also covered emergency communications and ICT for disaster risk reduction.
Ian Mannix has been manager emergency broadcasting for 10 years with the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, or ABC. In his experience, he said emergency broadcasting is unique in the media world and indeed in the telecoms and in the emergency management worlds. He said emergency broadcasting shouldn't be confused with broadcasting warnings, and it certainly isn't simply news. His talk illustrated the need to involve the media in disaster management. Mr. Mannix now works in Port Moresby with the Media Development Initiative, a DFED-funded project run by the ABC International Development.
I'm delighted and proud that NBC, National Broadcasting Corporation of Papua New Guinea, is also implementing an emergency broadcasting strategy to respond to natural and man-made disasters and health issues on radio, TV and online.
He said in many other countries, the media is fully involved in issuing warnings before disaster, and they also issue important survival information throughout the recovery phase. He said vulnerable communities like small island developing states can benefit from partnerships created around emergency broadcasting. However, there is often limited contact between forecasters and disaster managers, as well as various sectors of the economy.
In general, the most vulnerable countries are those with special needs, including small island developing states, least developed countries and landlocked developing countries. These communities can benefit from a partnership created around emergency broadcasting, but are not altogether certain that that's recognised by our institutions, and gaps remain. I think the gaps, I would describe them as a failure of imagination, a failure to understand the role of the media and the telcos, and a failure to engage in proper partnership building. I think the gaps, or one immediate glaring gap, is the failure to involve the media in medium and long-term disaster preparation.
Mr. Mannix said an important way to reach the mass population is through the media. He urged policymakers and regulators to seriously look into giving the media a formal role in the early disaster warning chain if countries are to have effective emergency systems. Deli Waigeno, National EMTV News.
ICT solution providers Datec recently opened a retail outlet in Madang. Datec, like EMTV, is a subsidiary of Telecom PNG, all now operating full swing in Madang town. Coordinated from Port Moresby, Datec aims to bring technological solutions to Madang and all other parts of the country in time. Rachel Shise reports.
Apart from Madang, Datec plans to open retail outlets throughout the country, focusing on local skill development, providing employment and enable businesses to use technology as an advantage to their businesses.
We have got the solar, UPS and the power solutions. We have shown to the local community how the solar power can help in the remote suburbs.
Datec, like EMTV, is a subsidiary of Telecom PNG.
Currently, we are owned by Telecom. We are a 100% subsidiary of Telecom. And as you know, now we are owned by the people of Papua New Guinea.
Telecom PNG is investing in Vanimo, WeWork, and will be opening up a Datec retail outlet in Ley City in the Morobe province soon.
The partnership between Telecom and Datec works, and the overall strategy it works on behalf of Telecom. Everything we make, dividends, taxes, profits, all remain in country. Nothing goes out of country, and that's the same with Datec.
One of Telecom PNG's motives is to provide employment for IT graduating students in the country.
Whether they're through a degree course at university or through a diploma course through Datec and Unitec, we continue to be one of the largest employers as a group of companies, including EMTV, including FM100, including Datec and including Telecom, one of the largest employers of skilled ICT, communications and media broadcasting people in Papua New Guinea. So the company knowledge base is a critical knowledge base for the country because it enables the country to be able to master what is a 21st century industry.
Rachel Shise, National EMTV News, Madang.
And Datec has hit the ground running. The company helped various agencies to develop their technology skills and use it to their advantage. A world-class PABX system was presented to Madang Police and a laptop to Modilon General Hospital.
Datec's commitment and focus area for Madang and the Mamasa region is to provide cost-effective ICT solutions. Datec has assisted the Madang Police with the world-class SMB PABX system, making them the first in the country to be using one.
We are donating it to the police department here. That's one of world-class solutions which we are bringing to PNG, and particularly we are bringing it to Madang for the first time.
The Madang Police Commander, Jacob Singirok, thanked Datec and Telecom, the parent company, for equipping the police force in Madang to finally respond to the Madang public's request for a 24-hour hotline service.
Telecom, the parent company, we are very happy that we would, I guess, and I am privileged that we will try our very best to attend to the needs of our people in Madang. To cut down on response time. At least when you have an emergency or a need for police assistance, we would, your call would be answered and then you will be served. So with that, it's a good start for the people of Madang, and through this partnership, we will go a long way in the years ahead.
Madang's Modilon General Hospital CEO, Sister Christine Gawi, also received a laptop from Datec as the first step into keeping its patients and other records electronically.
This is all part of our strategy to build a modern 21st century network that enables the economic development, particularly in regional and remote Papua New Guinea. And the thing about wireless technology, it does enable you to bring services, whether it's health services, education services, through ICT infrastructure and telecommunications infrastructure.
Rachel Shise, National EMTV News, Madang.
And now looking at our finance news. The Kina opened unchanged at $0.3160 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your Kina was buying $0.3085 US dollars, $0.4144 Australian dollars, $0.2755 euro, and 31.28 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold, coffee, and cocoa closed higher, while copper closed the day unchanged. Palm oil closed lower, while crude oil and copper closed the day higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 269.48 points higher, the ASX closed at 36.73 points higher, and the All Ordinaries closed at 39.35 points higher. Among stories after the break, Hela Provincial Assembly adjourns vote for new governor and oversees 36 dead in the latest terrorist attack. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. The Hela Provincial Assembly will meet again to vote a governor after the unsuccessful attempt yesterday. The Assembly met in Tari yesterday to elect a governor, however, was adjourned due to differences between the two factions. The two candidates for the seat are Koma Magarima MP Francis Potape and Koroba Lake Kopiago MP Philip Undialu.
Hundreds gathered in Tari town yesterday for the Provincial Assembly election of a new governor for Ela after the passing of late Anderson Aigiru. Under the Organic Law on Provincial and Local Level Government, a Provincial Assembly has the mandate to elect a new governor after the seat is left vacant, and this can be contested by members of Parliament. The Ela Provincial Assembly has a member composition of 19, of which 3 are elected members of Parliament, 4 appointed members, and the rest local level government presidents. However, the meeting did not follow normal procedure as the chairman and deputy governor announced the adjournment of the assembly meeting. After much commotion and debate, the meeting went ahead, but the election of the governor did not eventuate because of issues relating to voter eligibility. Out of the 13 LLGs, 5 were declared failed in the last LLG election, and 4 of the appointed members do not have the powers to cast the votes in this election. After the meeting's adjournment, the finance minister addressed the public. Later in a media conference, the minister said it was important for Ela to have a governor to address some important issues affecting the province at present.
Take leadership on the LNG benefits, especially in terms of the 4.27 equity of the National Petroleum Holdings Company that the beneficiary group, including Hela Provincial Government, will take custody of. So that needs leadership and a driver at the governor level. So that's why we had to convene. We also are starting discussions with the split of benefits between Hela and Southern Highlands.
He condemned the actions of certain assembly members in disrupting the election process and agreed for the assembly to meet in a week's time. This was supported by member for Koroba Lake Kopiago.
Move the motion to adjourn the assembly for 7 days. Minister Marabe has seconded the motion, and all the members have agreed to move the motion, and the assembly was adjourned to from 7 days from now, which is going to be next week, Tuesday.
Meanwhile, a frustrated Potape expressed dissatisfaction at the manner in which his 2 colleague members are treating this election process.
If this person continue, and make an talk ourselves, you may not get heavy assembly meeting lo magem no black governor. Marabe you governor, me governor, undolu governor, na you may get a governor star. Help him this man through. Help him, Mr. William Bondo and deputy governor. Let them take the province to the election.
His strong supporter and Deputy Governor Thomas Potape also maintained that the Assembly would meet in a month's time to vote for a governor.
Me agenda, me sorry lo people lo ada. Me all Papua-New Me like to was me agenda this Assembly and by July 28.
Michelle Amba, National EMTV News, Mount Again.
The Civil Aviation Safety Authority has issued Air Niugini the Air Operator Certificate in compliance with all regulatory safety standards and requirements. Chief Executive Officer and Director Wilson Sagati said CASA PNG was encouraged by the commitment and willingness shown by Air Niugini to retain the certificate for another 5 years.
CASA PNG, based on safety performance, has issued Air Niugini the Air Operator's Certificate. Mr. Sagati said Air Niugini resolved some of the findings revealed by the audit, reassuring CASA PNG to award another 5 years of operations. This was based on safety performance and operating systems, including quality and safety results. CASA PNG records also showed that Air Niugini, under the International Standards Organization Certificate for International Evaluation of Operational Systems, met all safety and quality. Air Niugini Board Chairman Sir Frederick Raya said the operator's certificate reflects the airline's commitment to safety in its operations. The chairman and board of directors thanked the management and staff for achieving the outcome, and they will continue to maintain this. Fabian Haklitz, National EMTV News.
The people of Daulo district in Eastern Highlands province now have access to a new health facility. Asara Rural Health Center was financed with assistance from the government of South Korea with funding of 15 million kina.
With the 15 million funding from the South Korean government, Daulo district will now experience health services which have been lacking in the past. The member for Daulo, Ron Ganarafo, said the new health center will make it easy for the young and old to access health services back in the province.
Patients from here in Eastern Highlands were being referred to Kundiawa and Kujip and down all the way to Ley.
Eastern Highlands Governor Julie Soso said with the new health infrastructure, women, especially mothers, should visit the health center often. She said mothers experiencing health problems should quickly seek medical treatment.
Health I start one time, you me at 1-1. Time you me at 1-1, look out in health you me in the beginning. And now by you looking in the life journey. You look out in help you.
Provincial Administrator Solomon Tato said doctors, nurses and staff of the Asaro Health Center will have the privilege of working in this new building. Tato said with the high-tech medical equipment, the doctors and nurses will deliver the services needed to address health issues. Julie Badwi Owa, National EMTV News, Ley.
And now to overseas news. A triple suicide bombing and gun attack at Istanbul's Ataturk airport has killed at least 36 people and left more than 150 wounded in the latest deadly strike in what Turkey's Prime Minister said appeared to have been an attack by Islamic State militants. The attackers began spraying bullets at airport guards at the terminal entrance, and a shootout erupted before they blew themselves up one by one at around 10 p.m. local time Tuesday or 5 a.m. PNG time.
Eyewitnesses say one attacker opened fire in the departure hall with an automatic rifle, sending passengers diving for cover and trying to flee. Police fired shots to try to stop two of the attackers just before they reached a security checkpoint at the arrivals hall, but they detonated their explosives, a Turkish official said. The attack on Europe's third busiest airport was one of the deadliest in a series of suicide bombings in Turkey, which is part of the US-led coalition against Islamic State and is struggling to contain the spillover from neighboring Syria's civil war. It is also battling an insurgency by Kurdish militants in its largely Kurdish southeast. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan called for an international joint fight against terror after the attack, the fourth deadly bombing in Istanbul this year alone. No group has claimed responsibility for the attack, which started around 9:50 p.m. local time or 4:50 a.m. PNG time. The attack bore similarities to a suicide bombing by Islamic State militants at Brussels airport in March that killed 16 people. A coordinated attack also targeted a rush-hour metro train, killing a further 16 people in the Belgian capital. Istanbul, a major tourism hub that is home to some 15 million people, has suffered a series of attacks in recent months. Located just outside Turkey's biggest city, Ataturk Airport served more than 60 million passengers in 2015, making it one of the busiest airports in the world. Turkey has been hit by at least 5 attacks blamed on IS jihadists, including a blast in Ankara in October 2015 that left over 100 dead, though the group has never formally claimed responsibility for the attack in Turkey. Lorraine Gabina, EMTV World News.
Trukai Sports is next. We'll have results from the Oceania Hockey World League, Intra Super Cup and Suburban League. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. In day 2 of the Hockey Oceania World League, Papua New Guinea's women's team secured 2 victories, scoring 7 goals to 0 against Tonga and 2-1 against the Solomon Islands. In the day's other matches, Fiji registered a big win over Tonga, 19-0, and later 9-1 over Solomon Islands. The PNG men's team defeated Tonga 7 goals to win, who later went down to Solomon Islands 3-2. Fiji beat Vanuatu 7-6 after drawing 4-4 at full time, and Vanuatu later pulled back with a 3-1 win over Solomon Islands. The PNG women currently sit on 4 wins and 1 loss, while the men with 3 wins and 1 loss. SP PNG Hunters co-captain Noel Zemming is undergoing medical treatment in Australia after picking up a fractured wrist. He has gone through an operation on his thumb and will be out for the next 6 weeks.
With Zemming out, Marum has shifted winger Justin Olam to the centres and has assigned Ase Boas to take on the kicking responsibilities.
Play in the centres, yeah, so probably a bit more ball. He's been coming in looking for football there, so.
Also picking up an injury in last weekend's loss against the Devils is fullback Stagroth Amin. He is suffering from a serious knee injury and will also be missing for the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, he's got a PCL. Okay, he's got 4 weeks according to a medical team. So that's just it's really sad because he just came back from the concussion and now he's back out again. So things are not looking good for him. Yeah.
Blenda Bavo will play in the fullback position with William Aquila making it into the starting side as winger.
William Aquila comes into the side. He hasn't played for a number of weeks, but he's been playing with the Gurrias. Last week he didn't play, but back in, he's in good shape. He'll play. Only issue is to sort out this visa. I think it's just that's what the office staff are working on. So.
Timothy Lomai makes a return to the team after missing 4 games due to a hand injury. He has been named in the weekend starting lineup and will play in the lock forward position. Brandy Peter has also come back after missing out on last weekend's match due to family obligations.
Yeah, Brandy off the bench. Yeah, he's coming off the bench. He had 1 week off last week, had to sort out his family issues. So yeah, now he's back. He's got a lot of work to do, so he's doing a bit of extras tomorrow too. So yeah.
Silas Kahuna and Butler Morris have also been named in the extended 19-man squad. Marum will finalize the travelling 18-man squad tomorrow before the Hunters take on the Tweedhead Seagulls in Brisbane on Sunday. Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
Still in Rugby League, with the Southern Zone Confederation Cup just 2 months away, Palm Suburban Rugby League has confirmed they will be bringing their selection squad into a training camp next weekend to prepare for their trial matches.
The selection trial matches will be held on the 18th to the 22nd of August, during which 3 final teams will be selected, 2 men's and a women's team. In the meantime, 4 men's teams have been selected, but that will be narrowed down to 2.
So we only have around 3 weeks to prepare the team, and we are already into preparations. And next week we should have our teams in camp preparing for the trials. And possibly after 2 weeks we should have our full team at the under 20, the women as well as the A grade in preparation for the Southern Zone Trial Confederation trials.
He said with more than 20 clubs in the competition, all teams will be thoroughly scrutinized so that only the best teams can be selected. The women's team already have a tentative lineup and are still awaiting their trial matches before a final squad can be named.
Management mula start yet. Now nibla executive mula singot one bla business house or sample man nibla staff nibla inablo sapotim disla sub form sabena rugby league please. You're welcome na kam lugim nibla lo na konita yesovol. Plagada executive staff yeta.
Meanwhile, Chairman and Vice Chairman of Suburban League are still waiting on sponsorship confirmation from the NCDC Sports Desk. Coming up this weekend, Suburban League will be heading into its round 10 of competition. Dinero Shriko, National EMTV Sports.
Stone's Taekwondo will start its Stop Violence Against Women program on the 11th of July. The program will run for 4 weekends and intensive training will be conducted by Master Jamuga Stone.
There's two of their community initiatives, with the first being the Stay Strong Kick Drugs Out of PNG program, which is popular amongst the youths. With all forms of violence against women in NCD and the country increasing daily, prominent combat martial arts and fitness expert Jamuga Stone has planned a special martial arts and fitness program for women. Stone hopes the program will change women's mindsets to promote a healthier lifestyle, be security conscious, and instill self-confidence in their everyday routine at home or at work. He will be going through general fitness, basic self-defense, one-on-one confrontation, and more. It will be held at the Sejong Guys Indoor Complex with many women expected to register. The program will start on the 11th of July and end on the 6th of August 2016. Registration will begin tomorrow and will close on the 8th of July. Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back. KK Kingston, in conjunction with PNG Olympics Federation and PNG Powerlifting Federation, is expected to host an action-packed powerlifting competition in Port Moresby on the 2nd of July. This is part of a series of powerlifting competitions in Lae and Port Moresby initiated by KK Kingston following the Pacific Games in 2015.
Team PNG did exceptionally well in powerlifting at the Games, and KK Kingston wants to support powerlifting by providing avenues for lifters to showcase their talent.
I think we have a lot of Linders and a lot of Waggy Henrys out there. It's just that they're not given the opportunity like local competitions. And only local competitions will keep them, abreast of where they are.
Initially, 2 competitions were staged in Lae this year, and the turnout and enthusiasm from young aspiring athletes has been overwhelming.
2 weeks ago, it was a 2-day tournament, and it went from early morning till night on both days, and the final day actually went till 11 o'clock at night. That's how much interest they had.
The benefit of powerlifting goes beyond the sport itself. World record holder Linda Poulsen is an example of that.
And because PNG Games by come on November, by plenty come inside. Plenty only training this last.
The competition fee is 10 kina and free entry for spectators. Registration is open to men and women of all weight class above the age of 18. Pre-registration is already open, but participants can also register and weigh in on Saturday morning between 7 a.m. and 9 to 10 a.m. when the competition begins. The event will be on this Saturday, 2nd of July at the Murray Barracks Sports Complex. Shane Saroya, National EMTV Sports.
Port Moresby will play host to the National Volleyball Championships in September this year. PNG Volleyball Federation Vice President Kila Dick and PNG Volleyball Referees Commission Chairman Joey Sena said this year alone is expected to see more than 50 teams participate in the national championships. Port Moresby will be represented by Fairfax and NCD associations.
NCD and Fairfax Volleyball Associations are well underway into their preparations for the event. Both volleyball associations are running competitions during the weekends in order to select their final teams. They anticipate sending 2 A-grade Premier teams for senior men's and women's and under-21 teams for both male and female as well.
On top of that, we have also the Morobel province. Volleyball is also very popular and very strong there. When we come to the national championships, they'd also nominate a good number of associations competing, like UN Gulf, Lay, and Liker, and Makam. So there is a big number of volleyball flowing in Morobel province as well. So these are the 2 provinces who are really have volleyball at that level.
Apart from the National Volleyball Championships, the NCD teams, when selected, will also be hard at training to represent the city at the PNG Games in November.
In 2014, we didn't add Gulf and Popondetta and Melon Bay. So this year, definitely, because it's going to be in Port Moresby, it will allow accessibility for those provinces. But then when the associations come together, we nominate 4 divisions, and then we have extra teams. So the number of teams will, I believe, could be between 50 and 80.
Chairman of the PNG Volleyball Referees Commission, Joey Sena, says they are expecting 50-plus teams from around the country at this year's championships.
Rob Kelly from Fairfax and Vanama from NCDVA. Actually, the top 2 teams right now in Port Moresby, and I foresee that they will probably be the top 2 teams in the national championship in September.
The championship is due to take place on the Independence Weekend in Port Moresby. Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
That ends True Kai Sports. The weather details when we come back.
True Kai Sports. True Kai Sports.
Your weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow. In the southern region, though mostly fine, chances of light occasional showers for Port Moresby and Kerema. Windy with light showers at times for Naru, light occasional showers for Alatau, and some showers for Popondetta. In the Mamasa region, showers with occasional thunderstorms for all centres. In the New Guinea Islands, occasional thunderstorms for Lorengau, light showers for Kavieng, and showers with occasional thunderstorms for Kokopo, Rabaul, Kimbe and Buka. And in the Highlands region, light showers or 2, then morning fog for all centres. And that's the news, sports and weather for tonight. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Hope Imaka. Pleasant viewing. Good night.